Hello, everyone. Jane here from Your Weight Loss. And today we're doing part 3 of what is the calorie deficit? And today we're talking about why you can't calculate your deficit. Hey, Leash.
Hey.
So I guess today we're getting more into the tracking game, the calorie awareness conversation, and why, like last podcast, was about like, what is my, perfect calorie deficit number. So we kind of like already touched base on the fact that you shouldn't be looking into a number. But today we're going to go deep as to why.
Yeah. And today if you are a tracker and have been tracking and maybe not seeing success, hopefully today can make you aware of perhaps why. And awareness is the name of the game, because as soon as you're aware, then you can make changes.
Absolutely. And I think that obviously today as well for people that are tracking, we're not tracking is not taboo, tracking is not bad. Alicia tracked for years and has gained so much knowledge and experience through putting that a part of her journey, to be honest. So I think that what's important here is that you recognize what we're trying to say is that tracking is hard. So that'll be the conversation today, why it's hard, and how you can, I guess, just being aware that it's hard can help you move past the difficulties that it might bring to your journey.
Absolutely. And I'm glad that you said that right from the upfront. We're not saying, we would never say that anything is bad. It's called Your Weight Loss for a reason, and tracking is a tool. And we just want to open your eyes that maybe a little bit more to that tool.
Absolutely. So the first part of this is to say it cannot be 100% accurate. So let's put it out there. You are not 100% accurately tracking every single thing that is going into your mouth, and that's okay. All right. Like that's normal.
And before we even get into you tracking what's going in, let's think about going out. Because in order for you to be estimating a calorie deficit, you are estimating calories in and you are also estimating calories out. So
You're right.
please remember that your BMR is an estimation, your NEAT is an estimation, your exercise is an estimation. It is reported, documented that fitness trackers, treadmills are overestimating how many calories you're burning. So, if you're taking all of that data and putting it in one big pot, it is estimation plus estimation minus estimation. It is one big pot of estimation.
Yeah. And I think and that's so funny because I didn't even think about tracking calories out. Like that one for me is so clear that that's not possible. Like I wouldn't even like get into it. I'm like, I don't know. This is my lifestyle. I don't want to get into that. Because I know that I have 100% control over what I'm consuming. Doesn't mean that I actually do not track, just putting that out there. But that's the piece that I want to focus my energy on. If I am to listen to the feedback that the scale is telling me, that's where I'm going to try to make some changes.
Yeah. Okay. So then yes. Okay. So calories in, guys. So there has been a meta-analysis done. So what that means is a bunch of studies put together and they look for like an underlying theme. And basically what has come out of it is that people are underreporting when they are tracking between 20 and 60%.
Think about that.
So if you are reporting that you were eating 1,500 calories, you're probably eating 2,300 on average.
Isn't that insane?
And why? Why is that? It's because it's hard.
Yeah.
It's not because you're purposely not doing things or it is because it is difficult to accurately track what is coming in. It is difficult.
Yeah. And I think that people are like, oh no, I do it like every single bite. And you could be still tracking everything, but there's like tracking and there's like tracking, like serious. What's the word I'm looking for? Like intense, like hardcore. That's the word I'm looking for. Like hardcore tracking. So basically it's like weighing everything, even weighing things that are in packages. Like, and no one does that 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Like, it's just not like, what are you going to do at the restaurant? Like, what are you going to do there? Are you going to bring your little scale and then put it on MyFitnessPal? Like right there. Like we do not think that it is normal to think that you can track every single bite that goes into your mouth.
It's just not. And even packages, people feel like, oh, well, this package is 100 calories, but actually, you need to know that packaged foods are allowed to vary by 20%.
Yeah.
So if you're consuming a lot of packaged foods, then okay, that's an extra 20 calories every time I eat 100 times 5 times 7. That's a lot of extra.
And I don't want people that are listening and that are, tracking or using their scale as a tool or whatever, their not the scale that you get on, but the other scale, the food scale.
Food scale.
Um, and they're like, oh, well, I'm doing it and I'm getting great results. Great. That's not who this message is for. This message is for the people that are confused as to why they're tracking everything yet and apparently creating a deficit yet not getting results.
And obviously, the reason why we're doing this podcast is because this has been a conversation that comes up over and over and over with our members.
Oh,
So,
absolutely. And I think with the world,
with the
with the
world,
world, I mean, on TikTok, we have 228,000 followers. And that's the number one thing we like. I eat this, not losing weight. I eat that, not losing weight. Like, no, you're not. You think you're eating that, but you're not, because most people that are like, I guess, oh, wow, this is a really Acadian word. You ready? Radati. Basically complaining that
okay.
they're eating a certain amount of food and they're not losing weight. Most like I would complain as well. To be honest, if I felt like I was doing all that work and I was eating that amount and I'm not losing weight, I would be complaining as well. So hopefully, right now we're day 3. Hopefully you watched day 1 or not watched, but yeah, you can watch us on YouTube, but listen to day 1 and day 2 to really set you in for today's topic as well.
And our intentions for today are to just create awareness around one, how hard tracking is and why. Those are our intentions, not
That's
for
it.
to tell you what you're doing is wrong or bad or whatever that just to create awareness. So I want to get into portions. So, meat especially is really hard to eyeball and it depends what size your plate is. It's going to look different. So, for example, you could be eating 5 or 6 ounces of beef when you think you're eating 4. And again, that is it's just a couple hundred calories off. Well, how many times a week or day are you actually off by a couple hundred calories? Like that's the difference between you being in a calorie deficit or not.
Absolutely. So you could have changed some of the things that you're eating and you think I'm eating about this, but if the scale, you might not be gaining either. You might just be really on average, you're consuming less than before. So you've stopped gaining weight. Now we're maintaining, but those few hundred calories, like Alicia is saying, could totally be that missing piece to you creating a deficit. The peanut butter,
Absolutely.
the peanut,
Oh,
the tablespoon of peanut butter that really is 4 tablespoons of peanut butter. Just what else? The butter, the
kids,
oils.
the oils, like, are you tracking your oils? Guys, there's 120 calories in 1 tablespoon of olive oil.
Tablespoon.
And I'm not saying don't use olive oil. I personally use it in my cooking. What we're saying is be aware.
What we're saying is instead of feeling like you're broken when the scale is not moving and you're like, I'm tracking everything, if you're not broken, just say, okay, there's something I'm not tracking properly. And that's normal and that's okay. And that's like, I'm not creating a deficit. And it's either you're not tracking, you're thinking, and don't even get me started on, well, my BMR is this. So you're so many estimations on like, you're trying to follow a certain number of calories going in according to what you estimated is going out. And like so much
So much
noise.
effort and energy going into finding a number instead of just looking at your specific habits, what you are doing, and how you could improve. I mean, what about your liquid calories? Like, are you tracking your beer? Are you tracking your wine? Are you tracking the bite of your kid's grilled cheese crust?
Yeah. Are you tracking the bites you took while you were doing the noodles? Are
Yes.
you tracking, there's just, and it was so good during our boot camp when people were commenting like, oh my God, I'm the extra, like, I'm just noticing now I'm saying it out loud. Like I'm the person that eats the extra bites. I'm the person that whatever. And it feels liberating because you feel empowered by, okay, I have answers because guys, most of society is overweight and confused. They're confused as to what to do to lose this weight. If I could just figure it out, is it this diet? Is it this diet? Is it the next one? Is it whatever? And I'm telling you, if you're a human being, like you're a human, um, if you're not losing weight, it's because you're not in a deficit. Don't blame the lack of exercise or the lack of water or too much of this or too whatever. It's just at the end, you're not creating a deficit. So what happens is when you want to pinpoint anything else other than deficit, you're creating crutches. Like you're saying like, oh, I think it's, I know I'm eating too much takeout, but my husband eats takeout and he's fine. So we're not getting anywhere with that. Like it's not because of takeout. It's because you're not creating a deficit. Would you still like takeout? Do you want to fit it into your life? For your husband, he fits the takeout in his deficit or his maintenance, right? It's all about having the proper words to say, I'm not losing weight because I'm not in a deficit. Nothing else needs to be said
And there's so much power in
in
awareness,
that.
you guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to say that we have a tool for our members called the 7-Day Lifestyle Challenge, and they simply record everything that they've eaten that day, not how many calories, just what they've eaten. And what you can see is, oh my gosh, I take so many extra bites when I'm making supper. Oh my gosh, I do this. Oh my gosh, I'm starving at supper time. It just creates awareness around your habits, and you will be shocked at how many extra calories you realize are coming in that you hadn't really registered.
And at the end of the day, it just gives you answers. The answers you've always been waiting for as to why you're not losing the weight. Is it this like and that's the noise we talked about. That's noise when you're like, should I eat more broccoli? Should I eat fish for supper? Because that one time I did that diet just put
No.
you in a deficit. That's all it did. There's no magic in fish or broccoli. So how about now that you know this, you sit there and you say, okay. I have not lost weight this last year and I haven't gained any. Okay. So you've been like, your lifestyle has been pretty maintenance. So how can I make tweaks? That's it, guys.
That's it. And I like using a calorie awareness. So there is power in I personally weigh my meat still. When I'm, getting my salads prepped or when I'm having supper with my family, I do weigh and portion my meat. And I do that with maybe cheese, peanut butter, things like that. So that's creating calorie awareness. I do not track every single calorie or try to track every single calorie that comes in my mouth. But I do, if I'm going to consume something new, maybe I want to go to Starbucks and get a fancy drink, I'm going to look up how many calories it is. So I won't know how many total calories I consume that day, but that one item, I'm going to be aware. Is it 30 calories? Is it 300 calories?
I also don't like the whole like trying to get to a certain number every day.
Well,
It's
let's
just like,
talk about that because
okay, because
when
what
you
if you're not as hungry that day? And what if
yes,
and you're already underreporting, which is the norm, right? And probably what you're doing. You're already underreporting, and then you feel like you didn't hit your number. And then what if you go over? What if that day you were hungry and like I don't know that it just doesn't leave any room for you to be you. And we're all about like you, like
I
being yourself.
find that when you're putting the emphasis on the number, we tend to ignore our hunger cues. So basically, we're going to suffer even though we're starving because we already hit our calories. Or the other way, I've seen people eat more calories because they have more calories left on MyFitnessPal, but they're not even hungry.
Right.
You're maybe putting your happiness aside. You're
Yeah.
maybe putting real life aside. Like,
Right.
if you're a tracker and you get invited out to supper or you have a girls' night or you have a potluck or like these are supposed to be fun, enjoyable experiences in your life. And I see people with anxiety around them because it's going to be hard to track the exact amount of calories that are coming in.
Yes, exactly. That really breaks my heart as well. Like when we get people that say like, I'm going out, I'm so nervous. And I'm like, if you really understood what calorie deficit was, you'd be like, okay, I'm going to spend some budget here. I'm going to spend some money. I'm excited to go shopping.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be smart about my money. That's it. That's the only conversation you need with like in your head. You don't need any noise. You are the boss. You are in control and no amount. And it's the failing piece, right? That they're afraid of failing. And I'm like, there is no amount of calories that means you failed because you can always adjust your budget. You can always pay off your budget your way. Like, guys, this is so powerful.
So powerful.
Yeah.
So we need you guys to be aware that most people, not because they're bad, because it's hard, most people inaccurately track their food.
The next piece to what we want to say is that we believe to our core that you do not need to track your calories to lose weight. And so for us, it's like, if you like it, if it helps you to perform, if it's allowed you to be your best you and you like it, obviously keep going. It's your way. You do your thing. But what we're trying to say here is that if ever one day you don't feel like it, if ever one day it does not help you to perform and you actually kind of start kind of disliking it, that it's not the reason why you've been successful for the past month or 2 months. You had just created a deficit and this was a tool you were using. What's the next tool do you want to help you to be in a deficit? So we just don't want people to have that piece of like, in order to create a deficit, I need to track. So if I stop tracking, that I no longer have success. That is false. That is untrue. You will have success if you create a deficit, and you do not need tracking for that.
You do not. We believe that to our core. In order to lose weight, you need awareness. So
Yeah.
part of that is awareness in your habits, and part of that is calorie awareness. But that's a very small part. That's educating yourself. That's like turning the box around, reading the label. Am I eating a cup of rice or am I eating a quarter cup? That is a piece to the puzzle, and it is important. However, it is just a small piece. The other piece is just awareness around your habits.
So next part and the last part of this What is a Calorie Deficit, I guess, series is how to create a deficit in your life. So we're going to talk way deeper into awareness and how we help our members create awareness at Your Way Weight Loss. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. Okay, so find us on all of the platforms: TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. What else? Oh, YouTube under Your Way Weight Loss. And you can find us on the internet, yourwayrsupport.com. Give us a thumbs up and, I don't know, 5 stars. Leave a comment. Thank you. Tell your friends, all of the things.
All the things.
Okay, bye.
Bye.